Hey everybody, how's it going? Marcos Villegas for Fight Up TV, being joined here in Anaheim with Danny Jacobs after a pretty crazy press conference, man. I don't know, are we used to this kind of stuff? I haven't seen a brawl like that in forever.
I was just talking to my trainer, Andre Rozier, about it on the sideline, and I'm saying, I don't know if we've ever experienced this. I mean, things gotten crazy, but never to this magnitude. But as a fighter, I love it. As a boxing fan and an MMA fan, I love all the controversy because that's what pumps fighters. That's what pumps the fans. That's what pumps everybody to look forward to come fight night. So,
from your vantage point, what did you see? Because it's kind of confusing. We're all trying to figure out like what caused like the fight.
Yeah, I had the bird's eye view. I got a chance to see who threw the first punch, who grappled, who was wrestling. I seen someone with their eyes cut, blood coming down. This is the first type of press conference I've ever been to, but probably one of the best at the same time because I'm more for the antics. As cool, calm, and collective as I am a fan of sometimes getting crazy.
You're back.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Thank you.
You know, I think the boxing fan would ask Danny, you know, what's been happening these last 2.5 years? You know, where have you been and what's been going on?
Well, I've been focusing on family. I've been focusing on my mental health. I've been focused on life outside of boxing. I had some time to reevaluate myself, see what was most important at that specific time during those 2 years. And now I'm 100% mentally ready, 100% physically ready, and now I've been training for months on top of months to get prepared for this particular opportunity. And I'm looking forward to ending my career with a nice big bang. You know, the Hall of Fame is something that the very first time I put my first pair of gloves on, I wanted to be able to say I was one of the greats in my generation. And so, you know, this is a continuation to that.
What was happening? You mentioned a whole lot of things. You know, you wanted to focus on family, but you also brought up mental health. What was going on there?
Well, just without getting too into things, obviously, you know, when you have big things going on in your life, you become a superstar, you know, you get millions of dollars and you get so many different things happening at once. That's why sometimes I preach to some of these up-and-coming athletes, whether they're fighters or whatever they do, just to have the right type of circle around you because it's important. Because life can swarm you, you know, certain things can happen to you on the outside and it takes you off your path. And so I'm one now to stand firm of, you know, being in a place where I can say therapy is wonderful. I can be in a place to say having a certain type of people, whether it's family, whether it's friends that truly care about you, that's really down for you, to be in your corner, supporting you, no matter what it is. I'm one to say now that I am a firm believer of mental health first, everything else secondary.
Yeah, we're starting to see more and more athletes in general be upfront about that sort of things and wanting to take time. What do you feel like helped you get through that and get yourself right?
Space and time, but ultimately my why. You know, my why. What am I doing this for? Why do I want to continue to box? My goal when I first put on my first pair of professional gloves was to become champion. You know, I became champion twice. But to become a millionaire, you know, I've done that triple foes. So many different accomplishments I wanted to set. I've done those things. And so now my why was to obviously make a world-renowned stamp in the Boxing Hall of Fame to be able to say I was the greatest amongst my whole generation of all of the guys that I faced to the guys in my, you know, generation.
How long were you struggling with this? Was this happening like during the Ryder fight and the other fights previous, like during that time?
Well, it's kind of complicated to timeline things, but for those who are true Team Jacobs fans, they know what I bring to the table. They know all that I possess. There are many controversial fights. All of my losses, you know, were very controversial. A lot of people think that I've won so many of the losses that was handed to me, but I've accepted all of the journey where I've come through to where I am now, and I just look forward to the future. Yeah.
I would imagine you're wanting to make up for lost time as well, because we haven't seen you for a while. During this whole process, were you in the gym, or was it like a legit no training, just resting and taking time off, or did you have a chance to sharpen up on things?
Well, it was a good balance, I would say. And like you've mentioned, what you just said, my mental state now is I've accomplished a lot, you know. I'm content with the things that I've created and cultivated for myself and where I am to this point. And even if I don't fight another day after this particular bout, I'm content with where I am. But we're just adding a little bit oomph to the fire. And the fire is lit, and it's been lit for some time now. We've been going around from promotion to different, opportunities that we can fight different possible people. We got a lot of no's, and we got a lot of cancellations, but I'm finally happy I'm able to lock something in with a worthy opponent and Shane Mosley Jr., and I look forward to giving the fans a good show.
Yeah, that's happening on July 6th here in Anaheim. I was wondering that when I saw you, that if you were like a free agent, because the last time we had saw you, you were with Matchroom, I believe. So what is the status right now? Are you a free agent, or are you still tied to a promotional company?
I am a free agent. It is just me and the greatest manager in all of boxing at the moment, Keith Connolly. We're a free agent. We're working promoter to promoter. Looking for great opportunities, and I'm happy I've accomplished all the things that I've accomplished to get me to this point where I can just slide in and, be the co-main event and be somebody that still the fans want to see fight.
Is there a part of you that's like, man, I got to make up for lost time? Like, I got to get through this, and then I got to get active. I got to get 2 more fights in, or like, how are you planning like this later portion of your career?
I'm on the most high timeline. Anything that we try to plan for ourselves, we're really not ultimately in control. So I'm enjoying the ride, regardless to what the outcome is, regardless to whatever happens inside and out the ring. I've understand now that it's about the process, it's about the journey, being present in the moment, being able to feel blessed in all of my accomplishments and all that I've obtained, but also look forward to the future, knowing that I have high hopes, high wishes, and prepping for that accordingly. But there's no timeline for me. There's no rush. I'm on the most high time, and I'm content with that.
Shane's been on a streak. He's had a lot of good wins, a lot of good momentum. How are you approaching this fight? How do you view Shane as an opponent compared to the vast number of opponents that you faced in your career?
My mindset, with all of the fights I've had as a professional, including amateur, I fought all kinds of styles. I'm not sure there's any style that I haven't faced or that's foreign to me. With the experience that I've cultivated, I think that that'll allow me to understand what to do, even if I need to adjust come fight night. But I'm the experienced man, and I know this is a young man's sport, but he's not a spring chicken himself, He's probably just been more active than me. But like I said, sometimes space and time away to get things right is ultimately what you probably actually needed. So, yeah.
There's that saying, distance makes the heart become fonder. It's like reignited your love, it sounds, for boxing, but also I'm getting a very Zen-like energy from you. Like you're at peace with everything.
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I've accomplished my dreams.
Yeah.
I'm at peace with that. I'm at peace with how everything untangled. The goods, the bad, the ups, the downs. That's the journey of life. And I'm just a student, and I'm happy to be learning every day. I'm happy to be taking my wins, taking my losses, but my losses not really being equate to losses, because you get to learn from anything that you haven't accomplished. So for me, it's more just about enjoying the present moment, enjoying the fans, being able to be in an atmosphere like this again when it's been so long. Even when I've gone out for these last 2 years, every time I go out, someone always recognizes me. Someone always says they miss me being back. But until you get to that point where you're mentally ready and you understand that, sometimes you have a time frame that is not too long, I think it was just perfect timing for me to come back the time that I did.
So this fight, 168?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
68
Andre, yeah. 68, yeah.
No problem? That should be, yeah.
One thing about me, I've always kept myself in shape.
Yeah.
One thing about me, I've always understood not to go overboard when it comes to the things that I eat, the things that I indulge in, whatever the case may be. So I'll be fit, I'll be ready, but most importantly, my mindset will be intact to where I can go do some damage.
You faced Canelo in Las Vegas. He's currently #1 at 168 pounds. How have you seen, you as an observer the last 2 years, that weight class shake out and the contenders that have gone in and gotten out?
I'm a fan of the sport of boxing. Even if I've fought you in the past, if you're a good fighter, if you're worthy, if the fans love it, I'm just along that journey when it comes to supporting the sport of boxing. So I see a lot of the guys that I fought have gone on to do things. Some may have retired. We don't know what Triple G is. But just sitting back. I took my son to the Crawford fight when he fought Spence. That was a highlight of my life, spending that time with him. And just being a fan of the sport that changed my life. So I'm a supporter of everyone.
So there's talk Crawford maybe moving up to fight Canelo. You have experience with Canelo. How does that shake out? Because a lot of people are saying like, whoa, like the weight difference like between a Crawford and a Canelo.
Yeah, well, skills sometimes pay the bills. And we know for sure that Crawford has the skills over Canelo. It's just sometimes power, weight, and experience may have a factor in that. So it'll be a good test for Crawford, but, you know, I'm a fan. I think all the fans are the winner in that particular fight if it happen pan out. But, you know, Crawford got a tough one coming up now, which I'm going to be in the building supporting him on that night. Big fan of him, and I look forward to what all he accomplished.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At 54, he has a Majimov who's a big puncher as well, but it seems like he's prepping himself for like the weight up. He'll go at 54, I would imagine, if he wins this title. Maybe he'll try to tiptoe at 60, another fight, but it's going to be real interesting. A lot of people have mentioned his skill could bridge the gap between like the weight disparity in that fight.
And that's a good possibility. We've seen it done time and time again. And we've seen it the opposite way. We've seen fighters who had the skill go up in weight. You know, Tyson Fury, I've always said to some of my people, he was actually a lighter guy in the amateurs, and he going to be a fast heavyweight. And so he was able to adjust. So it's just about seeing, it's about knowing, and it's about actually getting there and experience. But this will be a good test for Crawford, this upcoming match for him.
My last one for you, Danny. There's a few fights that I want to see, but one that's always stuck out is I was there in that hallway when you and Charlo got into it, and that's the one that, like, even now I still want to see. It is like when all this is said and done, like, is that like one where you're like, no, this fight has to happen. Me and him have to tussle.
It's always a fight that I've always wanted, but I would say this: it doesn't really matter to me if it happens at the end of the day. I would want it, and it's something that I've been wanting for a long time, but I'm content with the road my career will go down. I want the best fights. I want to make the best fights happen for the fans and for myself. But when we talk about mental health, too, you know, my heart goes out to the family. Charlo, I'm not sure all the things that he's gone through. We've seen, you know, back and forth things online, and I just wish the brother well. I wish him to get whatever circle or help that he needs to be able to be prime and ultimate, the Charlo that we all know that he was and is. And so I just wish him the best, him and his brother.
Danny, man, good chatting with you. Appreciate it, man. Really good seeing you. I'm glad you're in a good space. And yeah, man, fans have definitely missed Danny Jacobs in the mix. Danny Jacobs fighting July 6th against Shane Mosley Jr. here in Anaheim.